Greetings. It is day 232 of Personal Family Lockdown and day 226 of Shelter in Place for the county. This pandemic has impacted basically everyone, the whole world. It is interesting sometimes to get a glimpse into the different impacts of different people. Several weeks ago, our church had our very first communion service since the pandemic started. In order to follow county guidelines, there were 6 communion services scheduled, and you had to reserve a spot to limit the number of people at any given service. The communion elements were pre-packaged individual servings, and the service was held outdoors. My husband and I took turns going while the other one stayed with the kids. But we hadn't had communion in about 6 months. So it was nice to actually, see people and get together for the service. However, it was really interesting to me in greeting one of our pastors from a distance, how important it was actually for the pastors to have this service, even though I felt like I had seen them somewhat recently because I've been watching the church live stream each Sunday. They've been preaching to an empty sanctuary and haven't actually seen their congregation in several months, and just how important that is, and what a struggle and challenge to deal with. So it was kind of startling to me, and also just I think a reminder to reach out to people that and check in and see what's happening. People who you maybe used to see on a somewhat regular basis, or even those that you wouldn't have been seeing, to check in and see what's happening with them. Things have progressed, at least in our city now. Playgrounds are open. You're supposed to wear a mask and sanitize both before and after going to the playground. Our kids have not yet actually gone back to the playground equipment, although they are desperate to do so. I know as a grown-up, it's so hard not to touch one's face, and I feel as small children, it's like nearly impossible. So it just seems like even if you hand sanitize everyone, all of the small kids, there's just going to be so many germs. So this has been just another example of sort of the hard decisions that the pandemic has generated. And so many conversations with my husband over the past several months in terms of, okay, what are the rules set out by local and other governments, and then given those, what makes sense for our family. And it just seems like so many tricky things to consider, and this goes back to before we decided to do our own personal family lockdown, and all of the conversations leading up to that, and sort of back into figuring out, well, what's right for us given where we're at now as a family, and given what some of the newer opportunities are to get out. We have been going to a few events, socially distanced outdoor opportunities. Took the kids to a pumpkin patch during the week earlier in the month. So trying to branch out a little bit more, but also trying to do that in a safe way, given where we're at. So the strange times continue, but slowly making our way through the year.